Whether you're fly fishing in a stream, getting those ankles wet, or deep in the ocean casting nets, Fish Nerds. Fish Nerds. Fish Nerds. It's a podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Fish Nerds, the show about fish, fishing, and eating fish. I'm Clay Groves, Chief Executive Fish Nerd, licensed fishing guide, your best friend. Today is day 29 of National Podcast Posting Month. Almost there. Going to cross that finish line tomorrow. Still have time to get your pet peeve in. I'll wait till tomorrow morning around 8 a.m. to record the episode, 8 a.m. Eastern. So if you get yours in, I'll get it on. 607-378-FISH is the Fish Nerds Hotline. And you can participate and win fabulous prizes from Glasswater Angling. This month's theme is Fishy Pet Peeves. And speaking of Glasswater Angling, John King, the crappie hippie, is here with his Fishy Pet Peeve.
Hey everybody, it's Crappie Hippie, your co-host for the Fish Nerds podcast and co-founder of Glasswater Angling Lead-Free Fishing. And I've got a little peeve this morning. It's not my peeve, but it's one I have observed, and it's kind of cute and it's kind of funny, and I'm going to tell you about it right now. And I'm going to use an example like I tend to like to do. Now, here in Kansas, we don't get good ice, generally. We have these things called dock houses, though, that some of these marinas on different reservoirs will build. It's a little building, and they build it out over the water, and they throw habitat down in there, straw bales, brush, hang a string of 5-gallon bucket lids here and there, and they attract crappie, and, of course, shad, minnows, and stuff come in there, and then crappie come in there, and they all live around in there, and they're not really harassed much of the year because people are out in their boats fishing, but even a half-inch of ice can really damage a boat if you're not careful. So we have this kooky ice that we don't like. We can't walk on it. We can't run a boat through it. And so people go into these dock houses, and it's a lot of fun. There's good conversation, and it's just something to do when you got cabin fever. You can go inside a little house and fish through the floor. Anyway, I was doing that one time with my buddy Todd Birdie Birdsell. And we were catching some crappie. I was doing real well on a pattern that was a kind of a medium metallic blue head with an orangey kind of body on it, and the tail on it was kind of a powder blue hackle, and I was having myself a ball. Just knocking the heck out of them. It's a weird pattern to me, but it's a good cold weather pattern. I kind of just tried it on a lark and have had good success with it. But I went and showed the picture of my catch and posted the jig on a jig tying group. I was a member of several jig tying groups at the time, and by golly, I could not believe the explosion of opinion on what color, especially the body, was on that jig. I said it was a coral body, and other people said, oh no, that's salmon, that's just salmon. And another person chimed in, it's not salmon, it's shrimp. And another person came in from another direction, said, shrimp my foot, that's tangerine, and so on. And the thread just got longer and longer, and people chiming in, and people kind of teasing, and people kind of having fun with it. But the guys that started this just got so peevish and just so designerific about it, like they were on Project Runway or something. You know, I had Tim Gunn looking over their shoulder, trying to be impressive as to exactly what tone of orange this amounted to. It was awful fun. It was awful funny to let them go on and on about it and see how peevish with one another they got over what color orange this actually was. Now, I'm not sure the crappie really give a hoot if you're 1 degree to either side of that color or anything else. Anything from a pinkish orange to an orangey orange, you know what I'm talking about, right? You know, oh no, that's peach. You know, it's like, well, what are you talking about? The outside of a peach or the inside of a peach, or what kind of peach are you talking about? But I don't want to get into it. But I will tell you someone that's very close to me and very close to you all, as your listeners to the Fish Nerds podcast, Clay Groves, can get awful peevish about the color Charteuse. He says Charteuse doesn't exist because nobody knows what color it really is. And I hate to say it, but the man's got a point. Everything from fluorescent yellow all the way over on the dial to a dark lime can be called Charteuse by people, depending. And it's awful fun to see Clay get all worked up about it, and he's not the only one. I mean, people will say, oh, no, that's avocado. And people will say, well, were you talking about the inside of the avocado or the outside of the avocado? it really, it is something that's just awful cute and awful fun and awful funny to me. Because, I'm one of the people that think Chartreuse is the color of that liquor that comes in a bottle, and it's pretty consistent. And if it's a little on the yellow side of that, then it's yellow Chartreuse. And if it's on the green side of that, then it's the green Chartreuse. And then after that, I leave it off and color it or call it different colors entirely. Lime or yellow or fluorescent yellow or what have you. But anyway, it's awful fun to hear Clay go on about it because he likes to tease me. He knows I'm one of those guys that says it ain't no use unless it's Chartreuse, and that's the way I feel about it, but he doesn't believe Chartreuse exists. I'll tell you another one that people can get awful hot and bothered about is motor oil. And it really just depends on what brand your motor oil is. Some motor oil's reddish in color. Some motor oil is amber in color. Some motor oil is lighter. Some is darker. Some has different elements in it. And are you talking about how motor oil looks when it's floating on a puddle, or are you talking about how when it comes out of a bottle? But it just cracks me up how peevish anglers can get with one another about what color is that, what color is it really, and having to be so precise about what they're putting on their hard bait or tying on their jig or building their fly out of. So color and anglers and that designer thing where we just got to be right, getting peevish with one another, it's awful funny, it's awful cute. Well, anyway, this has been Crappie Hippie, your tree-hugging redneck from eastern Kansas, saying tight lines and Valentines. And, hey, these Valentines, they can be red, they can be ruby red, they can be fire engine red, they can be candy apple red, they can be pink, they can be powder pink, they can be candy pink. Listen, you just have the Valentine color you like. Tight lines and Valentines to y'all. Peace out.
Ain't no use if it ain't Chartreuse, John. That's what I always say. You covered it all. You even covered my response, and you are so right. There's no such thing as Chartreuse. I don't believe in it. It's like the Easter bunny of colors. I just ruined Easter for everybody. You're welcome. Clay Groves, out.